All right, Fatal Fury City of Wolves review. Let's check it out.
Hey, come on!
My main's gonna be Ronaldo. I'm telling y'all right
The
now.
OG SNK fighting game series and the one that went toe-to-toe with Street Fighter 2 back in the 90s, Fatal Fury has been dormant for more than 25 years.
Which is
leaving
crazy.
Street Fighter without its most comparable SNK competition for far too long. And that's what Fatal Fury City of the Wolves brings to the table. A more direct alternative to Street Fighter 6, one that is similar in its gameplay structure, but without neutral skipping system mechanics, drive impacts, and throw loops. It's missing a few modern-day fighting game features that should be standard at this point, and its UI is lacking to say the least, but in all the areas that matter the most, City of the Wolves hits like a red line Buster Wolf to the face.
Boss Wolf. Hold that.
Like its 90s predecessors, City of the Wolves is a 4-button fire that gives you a light punch, heavy punch, light kick, and heavy kick, with close and far versions of each of those buttons. One big thing that separates it from Street Fighter 6 and several other modern fighting games
There's one
is
less
that
button.
there are no universal ways to easily get in on an opponent. There are no shared high-speed dash-ups that let you keep your turn even if they're blocked, no universal vanishing teleports, and no projectile invulnerable quicksteps. Characters still have plenty of unique options to approach, but all of them carry significant risk. And while I personally don't mind a good neutral skip, I still greatly enjoy that larger focus on the mental chess game of trying to get a feel for how your opponent will approach and reacting accordingly. It also
Yeah, I think. I'm sorry to pause it so early, but I think that's a good way to make your opponent think. Like, you have to actually think when you play this, because there's no like get out of jail quick scheme or a fake way to eliminate neutral, or a fake way to artificial, not fake, but like artificial or easy way to keep applying pressure. Like, you really have to know what characters you're using. You can't just pick up a character and just mash and figure it out, or just know 2 moves and figure it out. You really got to get in depth, because each character gets in and gets out in different ways.
makes the characters that do have the ability to cover ground very quickly and safely feel a lot more unique among the rest of the cast. New to City of the Wolves is the Rev meter, which works very similarly to how the drive meter functions in Street Fighter 6, only you're actually building it up instead of depleting it. Once you hit 100% through a combination of using EX moves, Rev blows, and blocking attacks without letting the Rev meter cool down, you'll overheat, which is a very bad state to be in. During this time, you can't use any Rev techniques, and your guard gauge will deplete every time you block an attack. And if that runs out, your guard will be broken, and you'll be open to a free combo from your foe. It's a great system that has me making very important meter management decisions on the fly. Since you can chain EX special moves into each other in order to squeeze out more damage when you land a hit, that gauge can rise very quickly over the course of just a single combo. That pushed me to ask myself whether it was worth fully cashing out on a big combo but risk overheating, or ending the combo early and saving some of that gauge for the rest of the round.
Get ready, fight!
That makes sense. Blow for blow. Hey, yo.
The only part of the equation that I'm not fully on board with are Rev blows. These armored attacks do a sizable amount of damage even if they don't crumple the opponent by hitting as a counter, are safe on block, and only cost 17% of your Rev meter, meaning they can be used pretty liberally without
That just
much
defend. Yeah, that shit's fire.
Of course,
That
they're
shit's
not
fire.
unbeatable. Like drive impacts from Street Fighter 6, the best way to counter them is with a Rev blow of your own, which will turn the tide and give you a free combo opportunity. Unlike drive impacts though, Rev blows
That
can
combo is
only
fire.
be used during a special buff called Selective Potential Gear, or SPG for short, which is only active while in your choice of either the start, middle, or end portion of your health bar.
I usually put mine in the middle.
If the opponent has their SPG set at the beginning of their life bar, and you have it set anywhere else, it can feel straight up bad trying to defend against Rev blows, since you don't have access to your best response. There are other defensive options, like throws, dodge attacks, and supers,
Hold that.
but none that really match the ease and reward of the attacker just throwing a Rev blow out there. At higher levels, you'll see people canceling their dodge attack with the feint and getting full combos off of that, but the timing window for this is very tight, and it feels like there's no good answer for this move at low to mid-level play. Outside,
Yeah, it seems really easy to drop. If like I played the beta, I got a video of me playing the beta, If y'all want to go see that, I'll link it to this one. But it's really hard to, like, well, it's not hard to do combos, but it's easy to drop them. Like, your inputs have to be very precise. Like, you know how with Street Fighter, you could kind of, like, get away with these motions, these universal motions that you come up with over the years. And then with Mortal Kombat, you kind of have to dial it in. Like, bop, 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 bop. Like, y'all know what I'm talking about. This game is more so, it's somewhere in between that. The inputs have to be super clean and super precise.
Out of that one relatively small issue, however, the actual fighting in City of the Wolves is excellent. There's a great flexibility in the combo design. You can either go for really reliable and easy damage just by stringing a couple of EX special moves together, like this, or a more execution-heavy combo that incorporates techniques like special move breaking and feints, like this. This lets you weigh the potential of an increased reward against a much higher chance of dropping a combo however you want.
Between a rock and a Bogard place.
The City of the Wolves roster is a respectable 17 strong at launch, and it is a mechanically
you get
diverse
Ronaldo at
cast
launch
that covers most of the original Mark of the Wolves roster, along with 4 newcomers. 2 of those newcomers, Preacha and Vox Reaper, are excellent without any caveats. Preacha is an easy to pick up and play Muay Thai scientist with flashy and satisfying combos and a well-rounded skill set, while Vox Reaper is just rushdown personified. I personally have been spending the most time with Terry and Hokuto Maru. Terry because of the familiarity I have with him from other games, and Hokuto Maru for the sheer variety of approach options he has. He can double jump, teleport while in the air, and use Akuma-like air projectiles to both threaten from afar and alter his jump arc to bait out anti-airs. Then there are the guest characters. Real-world soccer pro Cristiano Ronaldo and real-world DJ Salvatore Ganacci. To get the
Oh, that's who that is. I was wondering, like, who is this DJ-looking dude? Salvatore Ganacci? Never heard of him, but all right, you go ahead, bro.
These cool characters mechanically. Ronaldo's main gimmick is that all of his normal attacks are soccer techniques that can not only damage the opponent on their own, but also be used to hit a soccer ball that can be summoned with one of his special moves. This can lead to some truly wild setups that force you to block the ball and then predict where Ronaldo is going to hit you from. Salvatore, on the other hand, is largely a gag character, with moves taken directly from his music videos.
Definitely a gag
but
character.
At least they're very entertaining to look at. Like, look at this goofy-ass super.
Nah, I'm dead. What kind of super is that? Nah, that's funny.
Love is all you need.
Nah,
But
that's
here's the
hilarious.
thing.
I like that.
Very little was done to make these characters feel like they belong in Fatal Fury, especially Ronaldo. Salvatore at least has his own story in the arcade and episodes of Southtown single-player modes, but Ronaldo is completely absent from both. Not to mention their visual designs are too boring to match the flash and flare of someone like B. Jani or Kain.
Yeah, they should have put some crazy fits on them. They should have gave them some crazy ass fits.
It's hard not to feel like these characters would have been better suited as optional DLC, like most guest characters tend to be, which would have freed up more spots for characters that actually belong in Southtown.
Welcome to Southtown.
As far as the rest of the package goes, the single-player options
POD,
in
if y'all don't know.
are fun,
Welcome to
even
Southtown.
if they are pretty basic. The first is the classic arcade mode that works as you would expect, and as far as arcade modes go, it's actually pretty solid, especially for those who are already familiar with Fatal Fury lore. Without going into spoilers, there are some great payoffs and fun character moments for longtime fans. The marquee single-player option is Episodes of Southtown. This RPG-inspired mode lets you play through a more substantial version of a character's story, and you'll gain experience with each battle that then lets you level up and become stronger, increasing your stats and giving you access to new skills and abilities. It's a solid diversion that adds some very welcome light progression and RPG elements while giving each character's story a more satisfying beginning, middle, and end. However,
Okay.
City of the Wolves could have used some extra attention in its teaching tools. There is a passable tutorial that covers all of the mechanics, but it doesn't do a great job of explaining the context or usage of many of its more advanced techniques. Defending against the aforementioned rev blow is one example, but it also doesn't do a great job of explaining the uses of things like feints and breaks. On the online side of things, the most important question to ask when it comes to a modern fighting game is, does it have rollback netcode? The second most important question is then, is it good rollback netcode? For City of the Wolves, the answers to those two questions are yes, and for the most part, during my experience with both the betas and a handful of matches on the full game's pre-launch servers, online felt generally pretty good. But the best netcodes are able to make a bad connection still feel playable, and that definitely wasn't the case during the worst of what I saw. I had one match with 8 frames of delay that felt like I was moving through sludge, and another where my button inputs just occasionally wouldn't go through. Most of the usual suite of options are otherwise here and accounted for.
I didn't have any issues with the beta. I don't know if this is beta gameplay that they're talking about, or if they got a final build, whatever the company sent them. But I didn't have any issues. Everything ran smooth when I was playing.
There are ranked matches, casual matches, room matches, and a replay theater to watch both your own replays and public ones, though there's no way to filter or search for replays featuring a specific character. Unfortunately, the UI to navigate through these menus is some of the worst I've seen in a fighting game, with the biggest offender being the room match menu that for some reason needs to be controlled with a slow-moving mouse cursor and has all the visual appeal of an Excel document. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge deal, and the lobby itself is still functional in all the ways I'd expect, but still, it's surprising to see in a game that otherwise drips with style once you're in a match.
Yeah, he wanted to be stylish. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
When it comes to all the most important parts of a fighting game, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is up there with the best of the genre. Its fighting system is a wonderful update to the classic SNK style of one-on-one combat that feels similar to Street Fighter 6, but just different enough to exist as an alternative. The roster of 17 is varied and interesting, even with the strange addition of 2 real-life guest characters, and its netcode, while not on the same level as some modern fighting games like Guilty Gear Strive for example, is at least relatively close to it. Many things around the rock-solid center are a bit behind the times, from the bare minimum teaching tools to an ugly menu UI that can be frustrating to engage with. But while that means Fatal Fury has some cobwebs to shake off from its 25-year hibernation, the end result is still an excellent return to the fighting game scene.
Geyser. So 8.
Executive Reviews editor Tom Marks here with Mitchell Saltzman.
Okay, they about to chat. Yeah, they about to chat. I ain't. I just wanted to see the review. But yeah, I expected it to be about an 8. That's what I rated the beta. I rated the beta at around an 8. I like that they have the little RPG elements and the little story mode with the comic strip activity going on. I dig that. That's just pretty dope. Again, yeah, I did the whole tutorial on the beta as well. And it shows you how to do it. It lets you learn how to do it, but it doesn't show you like when and where you can apply it. Like, you know how the Street Fighter 6 combo trials, they'll have it to where like, okay, you can use this combo in neutral, or you could chain this combo into this combo. Like, it has that, but this game doesn't seem to have that in the training mode, and it's a bit unfortunate. It's a bit of a miss of the mark there. I know the game is not designed. I know you don't want the game designed to hold your hand, but if you're gonna have a training mode, your training mode got to be robust, man. Tekken's training mode is robust. Street Fighter 6 training mode is robust. They kind of missed the mark. It's okay. It's not bad, but it just kind of missed the mark for me a little bit. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm definitely copping this. I wonder how much is it? Is it 60 or 70? I feel like this should be a $60 game. Definitely should be a $60 game. Yup, it's 60. I just want to make sure. So yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. Are you copping? Do you already have it? Are you online? Are you playing? What do you think it is? What do you think it is? Who's your main? Who's your favorite characters? What's your favorite moves? Talk to me down in the comments, all right? So you already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.